No, I disagree, my lord. I'm sitting with the statement from Brigadier Ninaba right in front of me, and I can read it to the court. He is from the policy, the head policy in the component governance, legislation and policy in the Division of Legal Services of the South African Police. He made this statement, and there's no authority, there's no section or standing order that he says this. I can read the statement into the docket. So if I'm being told there is an authority, I don't know where it's coming from, because this brigadier is from the policy division of the South African Police, and he says there's no policy that prescribes a specific form. It's a statement under oath signed by him, my lord, and it was, as I said, it was done last year.
Uyasho khona ke njalo ke ufakazi ukuthi lapha mkwakhe kune statement ke asiphethe esabhala komnumzana uPeter William Nimber Ninaba lapho kabhala khona ke ukuthi yena ke usebenza kuma office amakhulu ke la ngaphansi kwe policy in the component governance, legislation and policy in the division and legal services. Lapho usebenza kuma office amakhulu la benza khona ke imithetho futhi nalabahlala khona ke phansi mana nezemithetho zala iningizimu Africa.
Thank you, Brigadier. This is my time to cross-examine. If there's a need for whatever information that you have that the state feels needs to be placed on record, they will still have an opportunity in re-exam to place that information on record.
Uyabonga ke umeli ke fakazi kepha ke uyasho ukuthi uma ngaba khona ke udaba noma mhlambe into ongathanda ukuthi uyitshele ke inkantolo ke kwamanje akumele ukuthi ukhulume ngoba uyena ke ubuza ke imibuzo ke uma ngabe kukho okuthizeni okukhohliwe uzobuya ke ukhulume uma ngabe ehlangothi lezo shushiso sephinda bebuya futhi ebuza ke imibuzo.
No, my lord, that may be true, but I cannot agree to an assertion that is not correct. When I'm being told I'm wrong when I say there is no prescribed policy or standing order that says a specific form must be used. How do I agree with that when I know it's not correct? I'm sitting with a statement of the custodian of the police. He stated clearly he's the custodian of the standing orders in the South African Police, and he says, and he's a brigadier for that matter, there is no prescribed form in the warning statement. How do I agree with the assertion that is put to me? And I'm being told now, because I'm under cross-examination, that would be wrong of me to agree to.
Brigadier, you have just said that what I put to you is incorrect. When I say you are incorrect, and you are saying to me, no, you are correct. In other words, when I say to you, you are incorrect, I am incorrect myself. But the reading of that information that you have, that will be in the domain of the state. Remember, I'm not here representing the state. Do you understand? And there's a procedure here at court. Unfortunately, on a number of occasions, that procedure has just been let to go the way in which it went. But what I'm putting it to you that now is that you are wrong when you say that there's no authority within the context of the South African Police Services that says that that prescribed there's no specific form that is prescribed by the South African Police Services, a form that should be used when a suspect statement is taken. I'm saying in that regard you are wrong. Allow me to proceed with my line of cross-examination.
Fakazi athi ke umeli malana nalempendulo yakho manje nencazelo yakho ke leyo ke awukhulumile qiniso ukhulumeke amanga ngokuthi akukho ke umthetho onephoqathi zimsebenze ke iform ethizini noma iform ekhethekile uma ngabe nithatha ke statement kuyiboshwa noma kuba solo.
My lord, yes, the advocate uMnisi can proceed, but I can't agree that I'm wrong when what I know, supported by the custodian of the standing orders, agrees with me. How do I say I'm wrong? Unless then I must refer to the state, to that authority. I don't know where it's coming from, because the statement before me comes from the custodian, a brigadier in the policy section of the police, and he says there is no prescribed form when you take a warning statement prescribed by the police. Says there's no such policy. How could I agree with what I'm being told, my lord?
Thank you. When you say you don't agree with me, I'm not saying you should agree with me.
Sorry, Mr. uMnisi.
Maintain your position.
We're still going to go around. Can I have that document?
Yes, my lord, you may.
Because you're arguing about documents which you have, which I don't have. Can I have that document? Because you're talking about documents which were handed over. Sorry, did you hand over this document to
the state advocate, my lord? That was last year.
Does the defense have it? Hello?
I'm just trying to...
Mr. Ramsapiri, do you have the document?
I can't remember if...
Okay, you'll have it.
Yeah.
I want to follow the argument.
My colleague says we did give them. We can mark it Exhibit ZZ.
No, fine, I'll just read.
3.
I'll just... Because it also has what it calls an SAPM. But I'll just read what he claims to be the policy. No. I want this one, which was being quoted by the brigadier. Yeah, this is the one you're quoting, eh?
Yes, my lord. Just that it is an attachment that I...
Yeah, I see. That's why I'm saying it is attached to this statement regarding interview with a suspect, which is called SAP 3M.
Yes, that's the one we're debating before court, my lord.
No, we're not debating that. Affidavit in terms of section...
Sorry, my lord, as the court pleases.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to bring the following to the attention of the court.
Yeah.
Remember, the court is an arbiter.
Yes.
Now, when the court reads that document into record, there might be instances where the person who wrote that document, there are instances where that person who wrote that document may be required to come and testify.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. If you want him to come, no problem. I will issue the subpoena for you.
Now, what I'm saying, my lord, is let that document rather be read into record by the person.
No.
Thank you, my lord.
You are saying there is no policy. He says he can't agree with you
No, my
because there is a policy.
lord. No, I am saying.
Yes.
He is saying there is no policy.
That's it. And you are saying
And I am saying to
he's
him,
wrong.
He is wrong.
That's it. So
Yes.
as an arbiter, I'm
Yes.
taking the two composite assertions, okay? And I'm entitled to do that.
Yes,
Because you
my lord.
can't agree.
We'll never agree because
Okay,
it's
fine.
cross-examination, my lord.
Affidavit in terms of section
Yes.
234 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Can you just read section 234 for us?
Pertains to official documents.
Yeah, just read it so that we all are on the same page.
Proof of official documents. Section 234, subsection 1.
Right?
It shall, at criminal proceedings, be sufficient to prove an original official document which is in the custody or under the control of any state official by virtue of his office, if a copy thereof or an extract thereof, certified as a true copy or extract by the head of the department concerned or by any state official authorized thereto by such head, is produced in evidence at such proceedings.
Yeah, fine.
Subsection 2, paragraph A. An original official document referred to in subsection 1, other than the record of judicial proceedings,
Right?
may be produced at criminal proceedings only upon the order of the Attorney General. Then paragraph B, it shall not be necessary for the head of the department concerned to appear in person to produce an original document under paragraph A, but such document may be produced by any person authorized thereto by such head. Then subsection 3, any official who under subsection 1 certifies any copy or extract as true, knowing that such copy or extract is false, shall be guilty of an offense and liable on conviction to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years.
Okay, fine. That's enough for the purposes of this court. This is said to be an affidavit in terms of section 234 of the Criminal Procedure Act 1977. Peter Willem Ninabar states under oath in English, I am an adult male with ID number. He mentions the ID number. I'm 55 years old, employed as section head policy in the component governance legislation and policy in the division legal services of the South African Police Services, SAPS, holding the rank of a brigadier, and he mentions his telephone number. My duties at legal services inter alia include the following: drafting and maintenance of delegation documents, drafting of national instructions and revising of standing orders, maintenance of the database, version control and safekeeping of policies, national instructions and standing orders, and drafting of legal opinions for the management of the South African Police. I am the custodian of all policy, national instructions and standing orders in the SAPS. On the 26th of November 2024, Brigadier uGininda made inquiries regarding policy or directives of the South African Police dealing with the South African Police 3M statement regarding interview with a suspect, also commonly known as warning statement. I indicated that I could not find a policy or directive of the South African Police specifically dealing with the completion of the SAPA 3MM form attached as PWN, the one which is attached here. Paragraph 5.1 of the National Instruction 6 of 2014, that is the Prevention and Combating of Torture of Persons, attached as PNWN2, inter alia deals with the interviewing of persons in custody and provides as follows. Every member must follow the following instructions when interviewing a person in custody. 1. Before the commencement of the interview of a person in custody who has been arrested for alleged commission of an offense, members conducting the interview must identify themselves and inform the person in a language he or she understands, A, of the offense in respect of which he or she will be interviewed, B, of his or her rights to consult with a legal practitioner or his or her choice, or should he or she prefer to apply to be provided with the services of a legal practitioner by the state. C, that he or she has the right to remain silent and that anything he or she says may be used as evidence in a court of law. And D, of his or her right to apply to be released on bail. From the SAPS 3MM, Form SAPS 3MM contains instructions relating to the use and completion of the form. These instructions need to be followed when completing the form. It is my prayer that this Honorable Court take judicial notice of the above. I know and understand the contents of the statement, and I have no objection to taking the oath, and it is signed on the 17th of November 2024 at 10:15 by Brigadier the Camper. Is the authority who certified this. Can you give this also the citation? Yeah, you can continue, sir, if you want to continue.
The exhibit ZZ in brackets 1 in brackets B.
Okay.
Lakade khona ke befunda ke melana ne-affidavit eqhamuka ke kumuntu othe wabhala ke lo hlelo lolu lwe-affidavit elibhala ngaphansi kwezomthetho lapho ke usection 234 ngaphansi kwezomthetho wala iningizimu Afrika ku-Act Procedure Act of 1977 la uyasho ukuthi wona ke igama lakhe yena ke uPeter William Nina Bae uyasho khona njalo ukuthi uyabhala ukubhala ngaphansi kolwimi lesingisi ukubhala futhi ethatha isifungo ngaphansi kolwimi lesingisi la yasho khona ukuthi yena ke umuntu wesilisa ke onale ID number eminingwane kamazisi wakhe ke ikhona lapho ke futhi iminyaka u55 ubudala ke yena usebenza wena uqashiwe futhi yasebenza usebenza ngaphansi kwe-section head futhi yena ke umholi noma mhlawumbe induna noma mhlawumbe umphathi wale section asebenza kuyona ke policy in the component governance legislation and futhi policy in the division legal services ngaphansi usebenza ngezomthetho ke lapho ke la benza khona ke imithetho babhala khona ke imithetho zesiphoyisa khona ke la sebenza khona ke lapho ke futhi yasho khona ukuthi usebenza ngaphansi kwe-South African Police Services usebenza ke isiphoyisa sala iningizimu Afrika ke futhi isikhundla asebenza kusona ke isikhundla sokuthi naye ubrigadier ke futhi bese wafaka inombolo zocingo lwakhe khona ngalapho ke futhi la ngenzansi kokubhalile khona ke njalo ke ukuthi izinto ke abavame ukuthi bazenze lapho ke lapha legal services abazenza njalo futhi into abayilandelayo ke lapho ke uma ngabe be drafta noma besenza ke ama maintenance wama document lapho ke futhi uma be drafta ke ama national instructions noma bephinda futhi bebuyisela ke ama order akade kulokho avele akhona ke noma mhlawumbe maintain ke ama database wakhona ke noma izinto abazibonayo mhlawumbe ugcina ke izinto ngendlela iphephile lapho ke kuma national instructions noma ama standing orders uyasho futhi ukuthi khona njalo badrafta ke ama legal opinions for lokuzana abaphathi noma ama manager lapho ke ngaphansi kwezesiphoyisa ke lapho kuyasho ukuthi na uyena ke umuntu obhalile ke uhlelo lolu futhi elibhala ngaphansi kwama instructions noma kwama orders akhona ke ngaphansi kwezesiphoyisa ke uyasho ukuthi ngelanga la nge-26 ngenyanga kaNovember ngomnyaka ka 2024 ondluleke umnumzana uBrigadier Gininda wamcela ukuthi ke amlekelele ekuthizeni ke ngamalana nokuthi amtholele ke amapholisa akhuluma aqondile ke noma phecelezi ngodaba lama directives aqhamuka lapho ke ngaphansi kwe-SAPS akhuluma ngendlela abasebenza ngayo ke ngaphansi kwe-SAPS 3M abasathi bracket M futhi ke shothi lapho ke ama statement regarding interview with the suspect also commonly known as the warning statement shothi lapho ke inkulumo abavanga ukuthi mhlambe umuntu othatha istatement kumsolo wakhe futhi nomsolo inkulumo abajwayele ukuthi bahlale phansi bayixoxe noma mhlambe bayenzeke uma bebhala ama statement lawo ke uyiboshwa noma inkulumo yabasolo wakhe uyasho ukuthi lakhe ngilapho ngenzansi yena ke akakazi akuthole okuthizeni okukhethekile mayelana nomthetho ekumele bawulandele lapho ke ngaphansi kwesiphoyisa uma ngabe igcwalisa ke ama form lawo ke eSAPS 3MMM le khona ke lapho ngaphansi le form lena ke shothi na ihamba nale form lena bayibhala ukuthi PWN1 bese lapho kwathi paragraph 5 open bracket bese athi 1 lapho kuma national instructions ka 6 of 2014 uyasho ukuthi lona ke bahambi noma besenza lo hlelo lolwabo lokhu ke uyasho khona njalo ukuthi lokhu ke okulandelayo la ngenzansi ukuthi bonke abasebenza ngaphansi kweziphoyisa uma ngabe besebenza mayelana nohlelo lwabo lokuba nenkulumo mhlawumbe ingxoxo neziboshwa noma mhlawumbe nabasolo wakhe kwamele ukuthi balandele yiphi ke imgomo uma behlezi phansi bedikida udaba lolo-ke futhi aqhubeka washo ukuthi abezesiphoyisa uma befika ke bethola ke iboshwa lapho zikhona ke ngaphambi kwenkulumo yabo kwamele bafike lapho bazazise ukuthi bona ke boba namagama iphoyisa elifika lapho kwamele litshele ke umsolwa igama lalo futhi lizazise ngolimi leli umsolwa nalo ayothi alizwisise nje kahle ke futhi bese lapho ke yasho ukuthi khona ngenza futhi atshele ke umsolwa mayelana necala azoba nenkulumo naye mayelana necala lelo ke futhi abuya futhi asho ukuthi ngenza amtshele mayelana amalungelo akhe ezomthetho lokho ukuthi unelungelo lokuthola ke ummeli noma ayikhulumele uma ngabe nganayo kummeli ihlangothi lozombuso lothi limtholeke ummeli ke futhi uqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi nake lapho ke kubhale ukuthi kumele ukuthi angasho lutho ngoba inkulumo nenkulumo othi ayisebenzise bangathi bayisebenzise mayelana naye ngaphambi kwenkantolo ezomthetho waqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi lapho ke amthetho futhi unelungelo ukuthi angafaka isicelo sokuthi athuleke ibhayili waqhubeka washo khona njalo ukuthi konke lokho ke kukhona la ngaphakathi bakurekhodile ngaphakathi kwalo SAPS 3mm futhi washo khona ke ngenzansi ukuthi lapho kule form lena ka SAPS 3mm iyona ke phetheke imigomo noma indlela ukuthi bayilandele ehambisana nalo lolu daba lolu-ke futhi washo ukuthi lokhu kungasetshenziswa inkantolo futhi wafunga khona njalo ke bese bayisayina ke ngelanga la nge-27 ngenyanga kaNovemba kumnyaka 2024 ngesikhathi imizuzu ewu-10 ngemuva kwehora laka-10 kusasa.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Can continue.
Certainly, I'm going to request at whatever point that this Ninaba guy should come so that
yeah, no, you can come.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. You must call him. You want him here. You must call him.
Yes, I'm going to call him.
No problem.
Yes.
Because he is the head, according to him.
Yes.
Unless he makes an affidavit and he misleads this court. Because he says, I indicated that I could not find a policy or directive of the South African police specifically dealing with the completion of Form 3MM, which is the form you guys are talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this thing is akin, we've dealt with this thing. This thing is akin to, remember, I don't know if you recall, when we're dealing with the confessions. You remember the forms were not similar. Hello,
I was not involved in the confession at that point, my lord.
You remember?
Indeed, my lord.
Yeah, they're not similar. Mrs. Yoon came with a form. Mr. Colonel, yeah, the big gentleman, Limboto. They all came with different forms. But anyway, I'm not even making a finding, but I think all we're arguing about is Section 35. That's all. That's the premier law in South Africa concerning the rights of an accused person. So this is just recommendations. That's why even that document, which that gentleman in says, the senior prosecutor says, it must be clear that you're dealing with Section 35. And I'm saying, we dealt with things in 1931. I was not even born then. And we also did this when we were doing this case of Seth Cooper here in this court. 1972, when Sasso, Steve Biko, and all those gentlemen were being charged. They had the same argument about what does this form say. And the judge, who was Phil June, he was the JP of this division, Boshoff, he said, no, what is important is the rights. These are recommendations. Once there are, and he gave us this silly example, if you come into a police station and you find that there is no document which is enacted in a form of a confession, you don't tell the guy, hamba. You can take a free page like this one. You can take a free page and write warning statement and warn the guy in terms of Section 35. That document is valid. That's the law. Okay, fine, we can continue. Unless the doctor here. Doctor, am I talking?
I agree with the court.
I think it's more a question of substance over form.
Yeah. That's why I'm making that example, that we had 3 forms of different confessions. Rapudi came with 1, Mboto came with 1, and Mrs. Kronje came with 1. Maybe we can argue then that all these confessions are not confessions. Maybe fine. Maybe we can succeed. I don't know. But when he was asked, Mrs. Kronji, for instance. Where do you get this from? He said, I get it from Mrs. Kruger, remember? He's my head. And we normally take confessions using this form. Mboto is an old colonel. He said the same thing. Okay. So you guys can argue this thing. Right, sir? You want Nina Bar, you can call him, no problem.
My Lord, I think there is something that the court is missing here. You are talking about that warning statement.
Yeah,
That says each time a witness is interviewed, that specific form must be used. Now, we had an occasion, and the court has just indicated that a person can get into a police station and say, I want to make a confession. And the policeman would then have to take a paper and say, and write on top there, this is a confession, and takes down whatever that person wants to say.
Right.
But the scenario that we are involved with here, or handling here, is different from what the court has just mentioned, because Mr. Brigadier Gininda said, I spoke to accused number 2, and this is what he told me. Actually, I interviewed him, and there was no paper involved there. And the court has just correctly said that there needs to be something written down. But in this instance, which is what actually caused this whole inquiry here, is that there was nothing written down when Brigadier Gininda first met accused number 1, which then number 2, which culminated to all the confessions and everything.
Now, that's not the evidence I listened to. The evidence I listened to was that accused number 2
Yes.
at Carltonville.
Mine, yes, madam.
Yes.
You were told by Mrs. Mohani
Yes.
to say she has spoken to accused number 2,
Yes.
and accused number 2 wants to talk with me. Am I correct?
That is accused number 1, Mohona, my lord.
Mohona, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you went and introduced yourself, took out your card, you were in your car, then you engaged him, and then you warned him of his rights.
Correct, my lord.
And then he said to you, after having warned of his rights, he wants to make a statement.
To an independent.
That's it.
person.
And you said, look, I'll get you some wood. That's the evidence I listened to.
That is exactly what I'm saying, my lord. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Let's go ahead. You can continue cross-examining if you want to. Still. Okay.
I'm very disturbed, my lord. I must really tell the court that I'm very disturbed, because as I'm trying to explain, then the court cuts me down, and the court, but when it's
No, but
time
now
for the
you're
state
arguing,
to explain,
but now
then
you're
the court
arguing
is-
with me, and I'm telling you how I remember the evidence.
But that is exactly what I'm saying. my lord. I want to put what I'm saying in proper
continue
perspective.
cross-examining this witness,
Right.
not me.
No, I'm not cross-examining the court, but what I'm saying to the court is that the court needs also to give me an opportunity
Yes.
to respond. For instance, the court has asked Mr. Sibanda whether what the court is saying is correct or not. It did not afford me the opportunity to respond to the court.
You read my judgment, no problem.
Thank you.
Whether I think I'm right or wrong.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's continue.
Yes. Now, Brigadier, I've just put to you an assertion that by virtue of saying that there is there's no authority that says what specific document must be used when one takes a warning statement from a suspect, that is wrong. And you've said you still stand by what you're saying, that there's no such authority, not so?
Mnumzana uBrigadier, lapho ke besakhuluma khona malana nodaba lokuthi awukho ke umthetho oniphoqayo esiphoyiseni wangaphansi kwesiphoyisema la eNingizimu Afrika ektizeni kwamele nisebenzise idocument elithizeni elikhethekile uma ngaba nithatha ke inkulumo komsolwa asithi mhlambe uma ngaba kunengxoxo phakathi kwephoyisa nomsolwa interview lapho ke.
My lord, I've said, and I'm standing by it, that there's no policy that says a specific form must be used when you take a warning statement. That's what even the policy holder says, my lord.
Uyasho khona njalo ufakaza ukuthi lapho ke awukho ke umthetho othizeni okhethekile obaphoqayo ukuthi amele basebenzise idocument elikhethekile elithizeni uma ngaba benenkulumo nabasolwa futhi nepolice head nayo isho kona lokho.
Lastly, my lord, but just to put it in context, because it's important for me, it is also incorrect, because I'm here and it was referred to me, it's incorrect to say when I interviewed accused number 2, nothing was written, but also number 1, but specific accused 2 is not true. We dealt with my diary. It was in court and the court asked me to make my diary available, where I made notes of my interaction that led to the confession. To say now nothing was written at all, as if it was just a discussion that was not written down, is not correct. I made my diary available and copies in relation to accused number 2, but also accused number 1 is documented, my lord.
Uyasho futhi khona njalo jobe lakhe inkululeko ukuthi mayelana nodaba oluqhamukile phambi kwenkantolo ukuthi ngesikhathi esadala inkulumo nomsola wesibili futhi nomsola wokuqala ke akukho lutho la akukho la kadabhala khona ke phansi. Uyasho cha lokho lawo ke amanga ngoba kune diary yakhe kade isebenzisa ke la kadabhala khona ke futhi nenkantolo yamcela mayamphoqa ukuthi in diary leyo bekhona le nkantolo bese diary kwezana la nkantolo la kadabhala khona ke mayelana nesikhathi lesi kade ufakazi ikhulumisana nomsola wokuqala futhi nomsola wesibili.
Now, I'm not so sure whether you are aware of a book that was written for the South African Police Services in its entirety, from senior to junior level members, managers and everything.
Anginaso isiqiniseko yini sokuthi ngabe unalo yini ulwazi lencwadi abayibhala abezesiphoyisa uqala laba abancane kufika ukuze kufince kubaphathi bakhona ke.
That was written. I'm not done. I just gave the interpreter the opportunity to interpret what I was saying.
Athumile kaqedile ngokukhuluma ke ubuya futhi aqedile ngenkulumo yakhe ngoba ngaphambi isikhathi ukuthi ukhulumeke.
That book was written by, amongst others, Brigadier N.F. van Graan and Colonel T. de Camper.
Athi ngoda khona ke bhala ke abo brigadier ababili ke o brigadier van Graan futhi brigadier the same brigadier N.F. van Graan N.F. van Graan
and Colonel T. de Camper.
No, Colonel T. de Camper.
The same guy. The same guy, no?
Oh, which guy, man?
Just show the advocate this document which he attested to. Let's show it.
No, the affidavit was written by Ninaba. The commissioner was the Camper.
I'm saying the Camper, is it the same guy? That's all I'm saying, asking. That's
no,
all.
I don't know whether it's the same guy.
Okay, fine. It just
I don't work with them. I don't know whether it's the same guy.
But that is now Brigadier de Camper. Okay, fine, no problem.
And I don't know where the court is heading to with this, my lord. Because I don't know. If the court asks me is that the same guy, I don't know. I'm not working in the subs.
No, it's because I read with understanding. This guy officiated at the signing of an affidavit where the allegations which are made by Peter Ninabar is that if he makes a false statement.
My lord, I don't know him.
Yeah, fine, okay.
I've never met him.
No problem. No
so
problem.
If the court asks me if that is the same guy, what should I say? I do not know him.
Okay, fine.
Yes. Now, those people, the gentlemen that I've mentioned, Brigadier N.F. van Graan and Colonel T. de Camper, with the legal support, the policing and detention services of the South African Police Services.
Athi labalisa ababili noma laba hlonishwa ababili zesiphoyisa abakhuluma ngabo kabo brigadier laba ke futhi no lieutenant colonel uNF van Graan futhi no T D de Camper bona ke basebenza lapho ngaphansi zesiphoyisa kwizikhundla zabo zaba policy in legal policing
support policing and detention services of the South African Police Services.
Support services lapha ke noma detention and support services as a subs.
Now, further, in writing this book, certain members of the South African Police Services also made a contribution. They are the following.
Ngesikhathi sibhala incwadi lena ke futhi nabanye abasebenza ngaphansi kwesiphoyisa ke nabo bathi balekelela nobasiza futhi laba balandelayo.
Major General M. van Rooyen.
To Major General van Rooyen.
He's a head legal support policing and detention.
Athi nayo sebenza lapho head legal servicing and detention.
Brigadier J.A. van der Walt.
Brigadier J.A. van der Walt.
Legal support.
Usebenza ngaphansi legal support.
Policing and detention.
Policing and detention.
Brigadier P.W. Ninaber.
Brigadier P.W.
Ninaber. Yes. Is from the governance, policy and legislation management.
Usebenza lapho ngaphansi kwe governance, policy, policing and legislation.
Brigadier M.D. Bobby.
No, Brigadier M.D. Bobby.
From legal support, policing and detention.
Now, so legal support and detention.
It's Colonel M. Mate.
No, Colonel M. Mate.
Legal support, policing and detention.
Now, so legal support and detention.
Lieutenant Colonel M. Fesser
Lieutenant Colonel M. Fesser,
from the South African Police Services International Relations.
naye usebenza ngaphansi kwe-South African Police Services lapho sebenza khona-ke umkhakha kuwona-ke umkhakha we-International Relations.
Lieutenant Colonel M. Masindi,
Lieutenant Colonel M. Masindi,
Legal Support Policing and Detention.
naye usebenza ngaphansi kwe-Legal Support and Detention.
Lieutenant Colonel J. M. Murray,
Lieutenant Colonel M. J. Muley,
from Legal Support Policing and Detention.
naye usebenza ngaphansi kwe-Legal Support and Detention.
Captain R.R. Nelamvi,
Futhi no-Captain L.R. R.R.
Nelamvi is also from the Legal Support Policing and Detention.
naye usebenza ngaphansi kwe-Legal Support and Detention.
This gentleman wrote a book for the South African Police Services that comprises of 448 pages. Are you aware of that book?
Le ncwadi lena 444
448 pages.
incwadi yakhona-ke kukethi amakhasi-ke awu-448 aphelele. Ngabe unalo ulwazi lwayo yini?
Are you aware of that book?
My Lord, if I may ask, what is the book about?
Uma ngabuza ngabe incwadi mayelana nani?
Now, it's about the operations within South African Police Services.
Imelana nendlela yokusebenza-ke ngaphakathi komkhakha wezesiphoyisa noma kwezesiphoyisa.
No, but well, I'm not aware. If that title, my Lord, I'm not aware. What I know is that the PW Ninaba that the defense is referring to, it is the same brigadier that gave me this affidavit. The camper who was a colonel then that I'm aware of is a brigadier now, is still in the same division, and that is the brigadier that commissioned this
I've asked you about the book, not about the people, the book. Are you aware of this book?
My Lord, a statement was, there was an assertion or statements put before the question came, and a lot of names were read to me. I'm not sure now how could it be wrong when I comment about the names that were given to me. I didn't come up and put these names in what the advocate is asking me. He read the names that the book was written by these people, and these people contributed in the writing of the book. And I'm saying the only similar people or the known names to me in terms of their location is the two brigadiers. But without knowing the contents of the book, then I'm not aware of it. I'm aware of standing orders that governs the operation in terms of the standing orders, but I'm not aware of the book that deals with operations. That's why I wanted to know what is the book about, my Lord.
Uyasho khona-ke njalo ufakazi uma ngabe aphendula-ke mayelana nombuzo othi ubuzwa-ke ummeli ukuthi ngabe unalo yini ulwazi lencwadi lena-ke kade abuza ukuthi incwadi kade asitshela ngayo-ke futhi nabantu abasiza ekuthizeni kubhalwa incwadi la kamagama wabo-ke bese ufakazi waphindula washo wathi ubrigadier PW Ninaba uyena-ke obhalile istatement lesi kade asilethile phambi kwenkantolo mayelana nodaba lwama-warning statement mayelana nodaba lwama-warning statement futhi unokuzana ubrigadier T.D. Camper naye-ke futhi naye uyena kade commission statement lesi kade akhulume ngaso senziwa-ke ubrigadier Ninaba. Kepha-ke ufunde amagama amaningi-ke ummeli-ke lapho-ke futhi uqhubeka washo khona wathi amagama la akade wafunda-ke ushuthi amagama abantu kade besiza-ke ekuthizeni kubhalwa incwadi leyo-ke noma kade belekelela ekuthizeni kubhalwa incwadi leyo-ke.
Thank you. Just for interest's sake, one esteemed figure who also contributed towards the writing of this book is Professor John Dugat. I doubt if you know him, but let me give you a brief background with the Professor John Dugat. He's been part of the panel, he's been part of the members who went to the International Court of Justice and studied a case that was brought by South Africa against the war in between Israel and Hamas. Professor John Dugat.
I don't know what is the basis for Advocate uMnisi to assume to assume that the witness doesn't know Professor John Dugat. But in all fairness, but in all fairness, my Lord, I think it's also important to mention the year in which this book is published to give us.
I'm coming there, Mr. Laloi.
Wait, argue about Professor Dugat. He's actually a friend of mine. He taught me.
Yes.
At Wits.
Yes.
Under apartheid.
Yes. And he's still there.
And
very esteemed figure, man.
I used to use him as an expert on international law when I was still defending ANC operatives. And he is the first jurist in South Africa to use the Geneva Conventions in fighting the Terrorism Act. And the judge who was sitting here, it was K. Lewis. He gave my client Tele Moerane. You must have read about Tele Moerane.
I know him.
Yes?
Yes.
He hung him. He gave him a sentence of hanging him. So I know.
That's death penalty, man.
Yes.
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 My Lord, if I may also say that Professor Dugat taught me at Wits.
Yes.
Yes, fine. We're bragging about him. And And he was Charles Casson, myself, Basic Oboza, Reverend Archbishop Tutu.
Yes.
We were members of the Center for Applied Legal Studies.
Yes.
With Van der Vijver.
Yes, my lord.
Professor Van der Vijver also.
Yes, I know. I know. Okay. Yeah. But I should know these guys. I'm 78 years old.
Yes, my
So, I mean, please.
Now, importantly, he's also a contributor in this book. And if circumstances are going to call, we are going to call the course friend to come and give us a bit of a lecture. But importantly, the name of the book is called Iqabane. Have you ever heard of such a book?
No, my lord.
Thank you.